Welcome back, book watchers, to another episode. I'm your host, Jordyn,
I'm Sarah-Daye.
And I'm Chris.
and this is our week 2 coverage of Percy Jakcson, The Olympians, The Sea of Monsters. Again, this book was published in 2006, written by Rick Riordan, and we are talking about the 2013 film adaptation directed by Thor Freudenthal and the 2025 Disney Plus TV show adaptation, which was written/produced by Rick Riordan and Jonathan E. Steinberg. Here we are starting with episode 5 of the show, which covers basically chapters 12 and 13 of 12 and 13 and a little bit more, I think, of the book. And the episode is titled We Check Into Cece's Spa and Resort.
Before
We
we
will
jump
start.
in, isn't it kind of ironic that before we jump in, isn't it kind of ironic that a guy named Thor is directing a Greek gods movie or TV
Right?
show?
go check out Marvel. Get
Right?
where you're supposed to be, dude.
Or even just find you got to get a Norse show going instead. You can't
Something.
just take everybody else's stuff.
Stay in your own
Stay in your
lane.
Stay in your own lane. Yeah.
Yep.
Stay in your own pantheon. That's what I was looking
Stay
for.
in your own pantheon. That's right.
All right. So in the book, this chapter of Cece's Spa and Resort, Percy actually where we left off was the battle with Scylla and Charybdis, and the boat gets blown up. Percy's wanting to drown. He wakes up on a rowboat life raft situation with Annabeth. Everybody else is presumed dead. Clarice, Tyson, everybody's presumed dead at this point. And they come upon this island, and it's like pristine white beaches. It looks like it's straight out of a vacation magazine. Like, it's just gorgeous Caribbean island, basically. They get out of the boat, they walk up to the building, and they're like, "Oh, like, welcome, this is Cece's Spa and Resort. You know, can we get you anything?" They're like offering smoothies and facials and massages and, put on a fluffy robe. And then they go and meet Cece, and Cece is just this nice looking woman who is like, "You know what, Annabeth, like, let me take you over here and, get you sorted out while I talk to Percy. Percy needs some extra work on bettering himself." And Percy is talking to Cece, and she's like, "Basically, your biggest problem is that you're a boy. And so, because of that, I'm going to turn you into a guinea pig and stick you in this cage with other guinea pigs." And Annabeth comes back and she's like, "Where's Percy? Like, where's my friend? Like, what's going on?" Annabeth puts together that Cece is actually the witch Circe. And Circe is known, again, from the Odyssey and Odysseus's encounter. She is known to turn men into pigs, because men are pigs. But pigs are big and smelly and dirty and like too much, so we went with she's modernized and evolved, and now she does guinea pigs instead. And so Annabeth takes the multivitamins that were gifted from Hermes, and she dumps them in the cage, and all of the guinea pigs eat a multivitamin so they can feel like themselves again, and they get turned back into humans. And then Percy and Annabeth escape the island. They take this giant, like, pirate ship. It's literally the ship of Edward Teague, Blackbeard. They steal Blackbeard's ship and they take off into the Sea of Monsters.
I love seeing the pirates. It's really fun. I always say I think I was a pirate in a past life. So whenever there's pirates in any story, I just get so excited. It's so fun. And to see, Blackbeard himself is just a hoot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a whole pirate costume from my Ren Fair last year, so
nice.
I've definitely had some fun with pirate stuff recently.
Nice. I'm going to continue with the book because the show kind of takes that plus the sirens and kind of meshes them into one. But I'm going to talk about the book siren scene first. So they get on Blackbeard's ship, they take off into the sea, and Annabeth is like, "Oh, we should be approaching the island of the sirens, where these mythical creatures who basically like, general siren lore. They sing a song and it lures you in, and then they eat you. Um, that's pretty much it. Most siren stories are like that because of this. This is the original siren story, and again, Odysseus conquered them, and basically this is just a retelling of the Odyssey a little bit.
So when we start reading the Odyssey, we're gonna be like, Percy Jackson did it better.
Literally. I mean, that's what I'll be doing, but that's just me being disrespectful. Sorry. And Annabeth really wants to hear her siren song. She wants to, because they're not just singing like, what's happening on the radio. It's like telling you about yourself, and kind of showing you a version of the future. And she wants that information, so she asks Percy to tie her to the mast of the ship and leave her ears uncovered so she can hear what they're saying, and what they're revealing to her, while basically being protected. She can't actually leave. Percy gets some wax and plugs his ear so he can't hear anything. He's just using his sea god powers and steering the ship. He forgets to take Annabeth's knife off of her. She has cut herself loose and is swimming her little heart out to get to this island and putting her life on the line. Percy jumps in to save her. When he grabs her, he sees her vision. Her vision is basically him and Luke and her dad and her mom, the goddess Athena, sitting together. She wants to be an architect, and she has completely redesigned the whole city of New York. It's a new skyline. It's her. She made it. And basically everybody is holding hands, singing Kumbaya, and being happy and healthy, and everybody loves each other. And Percy, rescues her, pulls her out, gets her back on the boat, gets her away. And she explains how basically that vision explained to her how her fatal flaw is hubris and pride. And she thinks that she is so smart and so talented and so wonderful that she can just fix everything all by herself. And she doesn't need help. She doesn't need to rely on anybody. She can just handle it, just like she thought she could handle hearing the song without like putting herself or Percy in danger. And then they are like, oh, would you look at that? We're here at Polyphemus's island where the Golden Fleece and Grover are. And that's basically the end of that. The show kind of combines those two things. What did you guys think of how the showrunners decided to put those all into like one?
I thought it worked fine. I liked that the escape from the island was thwarted by these sirens, and that it all kind of like worked together. I really liked how they portrayed the sirens. I've always been interested in mermaids and sirens, and as a mythical creature, I thought their design was very unique and interesting. But I liked how everything played out. I liked how we thought she had actually won and beaten them, but it turned out that was actually the sirens working their magic. So
Her pride, thinking she could beat them with just her, yeah.
Exactly. So I thought that it worked really well.
Finally make her mom proud. Yeah, that part was the vision was a big part that stuck out to me. Was, oh, she thought she'd won, and her finally earned her mom's respect, which was part of her whole flaw too. And then she needs Percy to save her. And I think the book had something about how Percy's biggest flaw, or his fatal flaw, was Annabeth or his friends or something like that, wasn't it?
It's loyalty,
like
that's
it, yeah.
Broadly, but like, yes,
but for specifically the story, her was his big thing that they were talking about. I think.
I mean, it's Annabeth, it's Tyson, it's Grover. Like, we've seen it. His mom, right, in book 1, like he's willing to do anything, everything, break all of the rules. I mean, he says it in the show in like a Bridgerton-esque like line where it's like, I'd burn it all down for you, Annabeth. Like, oh, my heart. But yeah, like it literally. But like Percy was my first book boyfriend. I need everybody to know that. like the girls online joke about the book boyfriends now, Rhysand and Xaden and all. Percy is my OG. Okay, like just putting that out there. But yeah, like his fatal flaw is loyalty. I don't know, I forget if the book is so explicit as to say straight up that his fatal flaw is loyalty in this book. I know they do later, in later books.
It might just
But
be alluded to, yeah.
the whole series is showing that his fatal flaw is loyalty. Like by the time it's revealed, you're like, oh, duh. Like, he goes so far above and beyond to help the people he cares about, and like just being a hero, for the people he loves. That if it was anything else, I'd be like, you're wrong. Um, but yeah, I at first didn't love this change. Because specifically the change of how of who gets tied up on the
Mm-hmm.
mast to get past the sirens. I thought it was really important for Annabeth to show Annabeth's fatal flaw in that way, that it's pride and she thinks she can withstand it, she thinks she can survive it, she thinks she's, all of these things, and showing it that way. I didn't love how initially Percy was like tied up. I liked how they did it in the sense that like he wasn't supposed to be, but I didn't like that they took that agency away from Annabeth where she was choosing to listen to it and take that chance. Um at least initially. Once I saw the whole thing and saw how it was like the inception of vision inside of a vision inside of real life where she's about to get got, I did kind of like how they did that instead. So I'm still kind of 50-50 on it overall. I wish I had kept it how it was in the book because I'm a book truther and I wish all of it was exactly how it was in the book, at least at some level. But if they were going to change it, I did like how they ended up changing it. And then the movie doesn't do any of this. Hey, none of this happens in the movie. Like, lest we forget that there was a movie adaptation, none of this happens in the movie.
I think a broader discussion someday might be fun to literally like think like dissect these the characters even more so of like, is the Annabeth from the movie anything like the Annabeth from the show, and really dig into some of their, because they changed so much about their characterization sometimes. I haven't listened to the first episode. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't get to listen to you and Sarah-Daye's conversation about the first book and movie. So I'm
So
curious
you
in some
hate
ways
me.
about what your guys' thoughts were on the actors and the way they performed that. But I can wait and find out later unless we want
No,
to
it's okay.
do a
Just
quick little recap here.
yeah. I mean, basically what we said was that they were never going to be able to be the same because they were aged up.
Yes, that's
Like
fair.
none of the way even the relationship between Annabeth and Percy, like the when he first sees her in the movie, immediately he's like hard eyes, like who's she, like I'm obsessed with her, like she's amazing, like I want to get to know her. And then
Just like the
so
rest of the internet with Alexandra
which is
since
valid.
then, right? So,
I mean, if I saw Alexander Daddario, I would also act like that. So he's
right,
he's valid for that. But like because he's already, 16, 17 years old versus when he first meets Annabeth in the book, they're 12. They're
right.
children. They're like very, very much children versus they're prepubescent children versus being like deep into teenage years in the movie. It's just never going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that was something like when we first talked, like we kind of just got like didn't even bother talking about it that much because it was never going to be comparable because of that age difference. And so it's basically the same thing here. Like, you know, I think both versions of Percy have merits and have flaws. um I think Annabeth just as a character is much more fleshed out and in depth in this show than in either of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Not through the fault of
Yeah.
Alexandra Daddario, to be sure. Like we know she can act, but I don't think they gave her enough to do, especially in those movies. Um, so yeah, and then Grover basically is just like a super sexualized womanizer in the first movie, and that is like the complete opposite of book and show Grover. Like they're kids. So yeah, that's pretty much what we talked
Okay.
about.
Sounds good.
Yeah. In the movie, Percy, Annabeth, and Tyson get sucked into the maw of Charybdis on their own on their little life raft after they escape Luke's ship, and in Charybdis's stomach, they find Clarice and her ironclad ship and her undead zombie warriors. And then working together, they blow a hole in the side of Charybdis and go escape through her internal organs out into the ocean and float up to the top. And then all together, they all continue on their journey to Polyphemus's island. And we skip Circe's island, we skip the sirens, we're just straight there.
Movie magic
Um,
and timing.
yeah, I mean, the movie, like, wasn't, I don't think the movie was really trying that hard to follow the events of the book in order, nor was it the first time around. So it doesn't,
Do we know how much involvement Rick had with the movies at all?
he's credited as a writer for both movies.
Okay.
But I don't think he had the kind of like
Control.
Oversight that he has for
control.
the show.
Yes, he definitely has much more oversight for the show. And then even the show differences, he's quoted in interviews saying, like, I'm helping write these changes. Like, I know exactly what the changes are, why they're happening. I'm on board with it. Um, so I think that's something that, like, especially me as a OG book reader and like a book is better than the movie truther, I just kind of have to wrap my head around the fact that this it's never going to be a one-to-one shot for shot remake. That's just
Right.
not going to happen. And so
We got to trust the process. He knows where he wants the show to get to, and so we
yeah,
have to trust that he's guiding it along in that direction.
yeah, I can choose to fixate on everything that's different and everything that I think is wrong with the show in the adaptation, and just be super negative, or I can choose to find the things that I really love, like Sally, like Tyson, like Percy's relationship with all of them, like the foundation of Percabeth, one of the most iconic like ships in literature, in modern literature at least. Like I can choose what to focus on, and so I just it's just never going to be exactly what I wanted it to be. And it's at this point, after 2 seasons, I just know that it's not going to be what I wanted it to be. And so am I going to choose to be negative, or am I going to choose to find the positive? And I love Percy enough that I'm going to try to choose to find the positive.
Watching it week for week at the beginning, I was really struggling with because it was just like a little tiny bit, and then I was like, "Oh, that was not enough," or I didn't get where I wanted to get with that. But once I was able to kind of binge the whole thing together, it flowed a little better for me, and I could accept some of those changes a little better.
I agree. Season 1 and season 2 were better when I binged them all and watched the whole thing through at once than waiting week to week. I generally prefer the week to week model, so that we have time to talk about it and headcanon and predict and have those conversations. I generally prefer that, but there's something about the pacing and the writing of this show that works better as a binge model, at least these first 2 seasons. But we'll see what season 3 has in store for us.
I kind of like that the show, like watching it weekly, it's like a monster of a week kind of
Mm-hmm.
format. But I can totally see how it's like it's chunky when you're watching it week to week, but it is monster of the week. But then watching it, like binging it, is much more of like just a long movie,
Yeah.
and it makes more sense.
Yeah. And like I think we talked about it more in my first episode with you for season 1, Sarah-Daye, but like the new themes that they're really pushing about like family and like being different, and monsters aren't always monsters, things like that make a lot more sense and are a lot more evident when you watch the full show and see the whole through line from beginning to end. Those things make a lot more sense and feel more complete versus just having like disjointed chunks throughout.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that like that kind of writing and direction lend itself better to a binge model as well. But it is what it is. I'm just happy to be getting a show at some level, you guys. So let's not complain too much.
No, we're not complaining. We're just discussing what we like and don't like about it and all
Yeah.
that. If people want more of that, the complaining
Yeah.
part, let us know. We'll do that too.
Yeah, hey, my husband likes to say I'm a certified hater. I could hate on anything. So if you guys want me to hate on something, you just let me know. I'll do it.
We can have some hate watches.
Yeah, that's what the housemaid was, but
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. All right, episode 6, Nobody Gets the Fleece. Fun little play on words. Again, another Odyssey reference.
Hmm.
But anyways, so in the book, Percy and Annabeth get past the sirens, and we get to the island. We're like walking around. We're trying to figure out where is Grover, where is the Golden Fleece. Percy and Annabeth come up with this plan to basically disguise themselves as sheep on Polyphemus's island, because he is a sheep herder. And they like disguise themselves. They like literally are clinging to the bottom of the sheep as they're migrating from one end of the island to the other. And they get into Polyphemus's cave, and they find out that not only is Grover there, but Clarice is alive, and Clarice is there with Grover. And so now the 4 of them are trying to figure out a plan to get out. Tyson magically shows up to the rescue and helps them get out. And then in the show, Percy and Annabeth get to the island. Same kind of thing. Their plan is a little bit different, but generally the same kind of thing. They get there, they figure out that Grover and Clarice are alive. Percy is halfway down the shaft trying to get to Percy and Clarice, and they finally figure out that it's a trap. Annabeth figured out that it was a trap because the golden fleece that's hanging over the tree is dripping gold paint onto her hand. She's like, ooh, it's a trap. So she goes invisible to escape, and Percy gets trapped in there with Grover and Annabeth. Something that the show also added was Annabeth's conversation with Luke via an iris message. That did not happen in the book, but Luke talks to her. They have a little conversation. Percy gets jealous, and cuts it off. But now Luke knows that they're on the island, and he sends himself, Allison Sims, a handful of other demigods to go and try to. Now there's 3 different parties battling for the fleece: Polyphemus, the Cyclops, Percy and Co, and Luke and his cronies.
So it's basically the scene from Pirates of the Caribbean where they're all trying to get the heart of Davy Jones, and you get this fight happening all throughout in different parts of the island. Everybody
Pretty
getting
much. That's a great reference. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and so throughout the show, we got some like POV changes, and we got to see some of Clarice and Grover talking and kind of working together, trying to escape, which I liked. I like that like freedom of the show, that we can get different points of view and see what other characters are up to. We're not just stuck in Percy's head. So that was fun. This all kind of climaxes with Percy and Clarice and Grover have the golden fleece. Annabeth is still on the outside. Her and Tyson are battling Polyphemus. Tyson defeats Polyphemus, throws him into the sea, and during the fight, Annabeth gets like thrown against the cliff, and she's severely injured. She's dying. Luke runs up. Tyson is off battling Polyphemus. Luke runs up, sees that she's dying, and is like, if you guys give me the fleece, I'll heal her. And so Percy has this moment where, do I keep the fleece and tell Luke to F off and Annabeth dies, but we save camp? Or do I, take the fleece and give it to the enemy to save Annabeth? Do I choose, and there's that fatal flaw of loyalty that we were talking about. Percy Jakcson is that guy. He's going to pick his friend over everything. He knocks out Clarice, gives the fleece to Luke so Luke can save Annabeth, Luke takes Annabeth and the fleece and escapes, and now Percy and Grover and Clarice are still trapped in the cave.
And a big part of that leans into the fact that he kind of trusts that Luke also wants to save Annabeth and Thalia, and he
Mm-hmm.
kind of hopes that he is redeemable the way that his father thought he was. So
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of trying to trust other people too, or trust Luke as well with this situation. But he
Mm-hmm.
can't say for sure how Luke can react. He just knows he can't lose Annabelle.
Yeah, I think if it had been literally anybody else from the Team Kronos side, any other demigod, he wouldn't have. He would have said no. But he knows the history between Luke and Annabeth, and that if Luke was going to waver or flip flop sides for anything, it would be Annabeth. So I think you're right that that kind of shows like, I kind of like to think of it as like the like an Anakin Skywalker type of turn where like, technically Percy did the wrong thing by not like sticking to the mission, but he and Luke are foils to each other and they're so similar and their love for Annabeth that he's like, we can align on this one thing, which is saving Annabeth, and I'll kick your butt later and we'll fight to the death later, but right now you and I both know that we're going to save Annabeth, and so
Mm-hmm.
I'll do what I got to do. So
Fair point.
I love Percy Jakcson, man. I just love Percy Jakcson. So Tyson comes back. He moves the rock to free Percy, Clarice, and Grover. They all are like, okay, well, we know Luke is going to go back to his ship, his cruise ship, the Princess Andromeda. How are we going to get off this island? And so this is where we finally get to have Rainbow, the hippocampi, come with his friends and take Percy, Tyson, Clarice, and Grover off the island to the cruise ship. Um, Rainbow and friends do take them off the island in the book, but this is like the second or third time that we've met Rainbow and friends in the book versus in the show. This is the first time we get to see them. Um, yeah.
I think we see Rainbow like from a distance in the like on the when we're on the ship. I think Tyson has a few
Oh,
moments where
yes.
he like
You're right.
sees reference to him, but we don't have that relationship we do in the film
He's not
or in the
named
in the book.
Rainbow. We don't take the ride until this point in the show. Yeah, but you're
Right.
right. We do get to see him just a little tail flip out of the water earlier. Um, so in the book, they don't go to Luke's cruise ship. They just go straight to the nearest land. Um, and the book pretty much ends after that. So I guess we'll pause there and talk more about what happens in the show, because the show drags this ending out over the next 3 episodes. Like, yeah, there's a lot happening. Let me forget. So episode 7, I go down with the ship. This is the next chunk of chapters. I forgot to make that note, my bad. But yeah, Percy and Co have to go in the show, at least they have to go and rescue Annabeth. They have to get her back from Luke and his cronies, which I like how in the show they actually named Luke's followers cronies with a K, because they follow Kronos. I saw that in the subtitles. I was like, that's a good one. And so they now have to infiltrate the ship, because Luke wants the fleece to basically speed up the healing process of Kronos as he returns from Tartarus. And so they know that he's on the ship and they have to go and get the fleece and Annabeth back from Luke. Percy and Clarice continue to debate, should we focus on the fleece? Should we focus on Annabeth? Clarice wants to finish the quest, finish the mission, and get the fleece. Percy is like, we need Annabeth first, obviously. The cruise ship actually has docked, and so we get to see Tyson use the Cyclops voice mimicry to lure one of Luke's demigods over to them. They capture him. They use his key card to get onto the ship. Percy charges Grover and Tyson with getting them a ride out of here. And when in doubt, call mom. Mom, I'm scared. I need you to come pick me up, is basically what happens.
No, the kids are being mean to me.
Literally. And so we get this fun scene of Sally in like the grocery store. I've been a mom of a demigod and a cyclops. Like, what's going on? Just tell me the truth. And the grocery lady being like, what are you talking about? Which I thought was a fun little scene.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Annabeth is healing with the golden fleece. Allison Sims and the other like super loyalist demigods are like, Luke, what are we doing? We should just kill her. She's on the other team. She's a traitor. Like, we need to like focus on our mission, which is healing Kronos. And Luke is still like, but she's my friend. Like, I don't want to do that. So that's a whole conflict. Clarice gets stuck because the kids start playing mytho magic and she's just like stuck hiding and she can't escape. But Percy uses the invisibility hat, goes to Annabeth. Luke comes in, starts trying to convince Annabeth that Thalia would be on his side, and so Annabeth should also be on his side. Percy leaves to go and get the fleece while nobody is guarding it. Basically, like, he and Clarice end up switching because Clarice hears that Allison wants to take the demigods and go and kill Annabeth because Kronos has directly spoken to her and told her to do so. And so she's like, well, I can't let that happen. I gotta go save Annabeth while Percy's going to get the fleece. So they just kind of swap priorities real quick because he got to Annabeth and she's like, go get the fleece. So he's like, aye. And more fighting ensues, and then they get off the boat, jump in the Prius, and they're off to Camp Half-Blood. Versus the book, where they get to shore. There is still a little bit of a fight with Luke, but Clarice escapes, gets on an airplane to get home, because I think they come back to like Miami or something, right? Somewhere in Florida. And so Clarice gets on an airplane and books it back to Camp Half-Blood while everybody else stays and battles with Luke and his team. And then they make their way back to Camp Half-Blood after that. And then episode 8, the fleece works its magic too well. Everybody gets back. We put the fleece on the tree. Whoa, it works. Camp is healed, and Thalia is back. And that's like the big season finale twist thing, is Thalia is alive and kind of well. She's been in a tree for several years, so she's got to adjust. But she's back in corporeal form. And Percy now has to reckon with the fact that he is now not for sure the kid in the prophecy, because Thalia is the daughter of Zeus, and so it could be either one of them. And Chiron predicts that Kronos wants to take Thalia for his team, and so she will be directly battling Percy on the team of the Olympians, and he's very stressed out. He's a stressed out kid now.
Do you want to talk about the fact that the movie brings Kronos back?
Yeah, not really. Yeah, so the movie, which we haven't talked about in a while because it's very different. So yeah, the movie, they get to the island. There is Polyphemus, but like, I think they converge Circe's island and Polyphemus's island, and then they take the like from book 1, like the roller coaster, like abandoned amusement park thing, right, and roll that in there. It's a lot, but they escape Polyphemus, and then Luke brings out the coffin and puts the fleece on the coffin, like literally right there on this island. And Kronos like kind of comes back. Basically, he looks like Tafiti from Moana, actually.
Oh yeah, like maybe
like when she's still all
evil side, yeah.
And the guy Sother from the Thor Ragnarok movie. What's his
yes,
name?
Surtur, yeah.
Surtur,
yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what he is. Yeah, and it's crazy. So somehow Percy already knows like the full prophecy, and he's like, "Cursed blade is my blade. Spoilers, it's not his blade,
Right.
but whatever. um, and they're fighting. They fight Kronos. They're fighting Luke. They're fighting the Manticore.
I
And
mean,
And this
that's
is when
part of the
Annabeth
movie.
gets hurt in the movie.
Right.
yes, yes, this
That's
is
part
where
of the
Annabeth
movie
gets
is
hurt.
that it's the monster, the Kronos monster eats Luke.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh wait. How does he get eaten by Kronos and then he appears in the cave with the Cyclops? I don't understand how he got from
because
Kronos' stomach to
because
the cave.
Percy like slices Kronos, like he like does the thing where you stab the sword and then you fall and use the sword,
Yes.
whatever. So, but then Kronos like blows up and Luke gets shot out and lands back in the
Perks
cave
of
with
being a demigod, I
Polyphemus.
guess.
Okay. Got it.
Hey, your headcanon is as good as mine. This movie is not known for its airtight plot structure.
Well,
Okay.
and then I mean, in the movie, they have that the scenes where Thalia is facing off with the problem, the monsters in the beginning, and she's like
Mhm.
a little kid. She's not the almost 16-year-old that she's supposed to be.
Right.
And then they still age her up while she's in the tree, apparently, and then she comes back as this older child. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't understand what's happening. The book definitely was explicit about her staying the same age of
Mhm.
just
She
about
she does
fake
still
16.
age, but she ages much slower as a
Right.
tree in the books. Yeah. But yeah, the movie hey, there's a reason that they stopped making movies after this one and we are now getting this show instead. Like this is why. Um but yeah, so they in the movie they use the fleece, they save Annabeth. Magically we get back to camp, put the fleece on the tree, Thalia wakes up. um I like how the show did Thalia coming out of the tree better.
Hmm.
Like her laying down is, well, I take it back. I do and I don't. It looks cooler for her to be like in her fighting stance with her spear, but that doesn't really work with the fact that she was supposed to be dying. So like she should have been laying down. It just doesn't look as cool for her to be laying down when she
Well, and
comes
that
back.
adds to the storyline they're changing in the movie or the TV
Mhm.
show here, where that's
Mhm.
why she would be standing fighting more so, is because of the situation we get at the end here.
Yeah. So Annabeth, so in the book, Annabeth's beef with Cyclops is explained because the Cyclops is the monster that killed Thalia, or that was chasing them when Thalia made her last stand and died and became a tree. And so she has a lot of, and the especially the fact that they can do voice mimicry and change their voice, that's what set Annabeth up to like go wander off on her own because she was tricked when she was literally 7 years old. So like give her a break. um but yeah, so Annabeth's trauma regarding Cyclops is real and is valid and is completely wiped away in the show. Um, they they do still have some flashback scene where they're chased by Cyclops, but it's not like the big thing on Half Blood Hill where Thalia dies. Those monsters get changed to the Furies, which we remember from season one. I still am not really sure how I feel about the change. I watched the whole show week to week as it came out. I binged it. I still don't really know how I feel about the change. I think it makes sense with the other like thematic changes that they've made in the show, like we talked about in the first episodes of season one and book one, and how we've kind of talked about here, like, you know, people's choices and monsters aren't always monsters and heroes aren't always heroes, and trust your family and these things, like, showing both sides of the gods being not great but still better than, like, all of that, like, nuance that the show is doing. It makes sense why they would make this change. I still don't know how I feel about it. I think I would have to wait for season 3 and how it goes in season 3 and the result of it to make a final determination of if I really like it or not. But what do you guys think?
Do we want to reveal what happens, or do we want to let that stay um, a spoiler free thing for now?
We can stay spoiler free because the more we talk about Percy Jackson, the more I don't think I actually finished the series. I know,
Oh,
like, I do remember, like, I don't remember the final battle with Cronus or Cronus coming back. So I'm like, did I even read the rest of the books? I know that I read the next one because I remember certain characters, like the siblings. Um, but yeah, I don't remember much.
I
Okay.
think the end here, at least, is building towards that conflict between Percy and Thalia being built up, and then I think in the next one we'll see that extra character of the third of the big three
Mhm.
becoming the, like, you've got this build up of these three as your heroes that have to kind of be pitted against each other, and I think it's just trying to build that tension for when we get to the point where they have to make decisions. So I think I am on board with what they're doing, but I think that yeah, it's definitely different from the books, so we're gonna have to trust that the next one's gonna give us a good story based off that change.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense too because like throughout the whole season 2, they've talked about, would Thalia be on Annabeth's side or would she be on Luke's side? Like how, like
Mhm.
where would she fall? Because and we see in the flashbacks, she hates Zeus. She hates Camp Half Blood. She doesn't want to be a part of this. She doesn't want to like join it. Like they call it cult Half Blood instead of Camp Half Blood. Like
Right.
she and Luke are
But
both
she
very
loves Annabeth and her friends, so
right.
she's willing to be there. So that's going to be the biggest conflict between her and Luke, whether she agrees with him and wants to stay on his side, or wants to care for Annabeth, who has decided to be in
Yeah.
camp. Is a better place for her.
Yeah. And I think that would be something that would really turn me off on the show would be if they did make that big of a change and have Thalia like make different choices than the ones she makes in the book.
But we know who's
Um
showing up in the next one from some of the character and or the like
mhm,
actress announcements. So I
yeah.
think we do know that at least that choice is coming for her. So yeah, we'll see
Yes.
how she handles it.
I mostly what I'm alluding to is if she makes the choice to like kind of join more Luke's side or like defend him more versus making the other choices that she makes, that's going to be something that's might like put me over the edge, like that I'm going to be really
Agreed.
upset about. um I definitely don't mind adding the nuance and exploring, making Luke's point of view make sense. Like yeah, I can see, giving it that kind of Killmonger effect from Black Panther. Like I see where he's coming from. Hey,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
gods are not perfect. The gods do messed up stuff. He's making a lot of good points here. And even
Zeus is
having
definitely the villain, so
totally. And even having Thalia like have that thought process of like, well, yeah, like I do feel that way. I do hate my dad. I do hate this life that I'm a part of. I don't want to be a pawn in your game. Like letting her think those thoughts and feel those feelings, I'm totally fine with. But I think there is a line where like you can go too far with it, and now you're fundamentally changing that character and changing the story, and that's gonna stress me out a lot.
Have
Mhm.
you read the follow up one, the Lost Heroes stuff? That stuff, okay. Where it leads into the next part of the Jason and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Okay, we
Hmm.
won't go into it because we're not there yet, but the Thalia connection there is really interesting too. So
Yes.
she's
Yeah.
grown as a character for me in that started to read that series.
Yeah. We love. Yeah. Um I know I'm missing stuff because I didn't finish my I reread it and then I watched the show and then I watched the movie and then I was trying to reread it again and I didn't get through that second reread. So if I'm missing anything, I'm so sorry. I think we covered the biggest plot points and the biggest like
Mhm.
changes that happen. Um do you guys have anything else that you want to talk about as far as like character differences or plot differences, anything like that?
I think I've interjected where I feel like it was important to add to it. We did make the you made the guide for people if they want to follow along reading and watching the show. That was really helpful for being able to see what went where. So if
Yeah.
you haven't read it yet or haven't watched the show yet, definitely check out the reading list on our Facebook and our where else is it? Is it anywhere else? Just Facebook,
Instagram, I think.
Instagram. So check that out and
And
let us know if we missed anything.
it's pretty accurate. There's some stuff that like the chapter will end like on a cliffhanger versus the show will like show that next scene that's the beginning of the next chapter. So it's not exact, but it's pretty close. Um, yeah, I overall I still I'm I am sat, I'm ready, I'm waiting for season 3. I'm gonna watch season 3. I still love it. I'm looking forward to being able to reread the rest of the series as it comes up. Um, the changes continue to scare me. I
Yeah.
continue to really wish that it was shot for shot from the book. I don't mind, like we already kind of talked about with some of the like middle school goofiness. I don't
Mhm.
mind that stuff being taken out and like making it a little bit more mature and a little bit more dramatic. But some of the like big plot points and character points, I really, really hope that they kind of tighten down and stay more true to the book in the future. Um,
Do
I
you have
like
a
that
favorite book from the series that you're
Battle
ready
of the
for?
Labyrinth.
I think The Labyrinth is one of my favorites too. Or is one of my favorite of the series. Yeah,
Is that the
Yeah.
next one?
No,
the
it's
fourth
number
book.
4.
Okay,
The next
I've read
one
that
is the
one.
Titan's Curse.
Okay, I've read the Labyrinth, so maybe that's the last one I read.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm set, I'm ready, I'm excited. I'm
Mhm.
I'm a little bit more apprehensive going into season 3 than I was going into season 2. Season 2 has kind of shaken my faith a little bit because of the changes. None of the changes that they made are like super bad where I'm like, I'm still going to watch the next season, right? Like there's nothing that I'm like this is unforgivable. I can't do this anymore. Like it's not that bad. I just don't like changes. Changes scare me. And so I
Mhm.
wish they would stop making the changes.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like you're going to stop no matter what they put out, so they can do whatever they want to this. You just want to
Maybe
see him Percy Jackson on the screen. So
if if Thalia were in next season, if Thalia were to make the choice to join Luke's team, that would put me over the edge. I would probably give up after that because that change is so fundamental to who she is and the rest of the story.
I don't think they're going to
I don't think
because
they are
I think they're
either.
setting it up for you to think she might. And
Yeah.
that's like the big cliffhanger, right? Was like,
Yeah.
okay. And like you could see Percy's face like change and like get really dark. And like, so like I think they're setting us up as an audience who doesn't know the books to think that she's going to join Luke.
Yeah.
But I don't think the show's actually going to do that.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Even the
I
third book had that feeling in the beginning where
Yeah.
Percy was kind of unsure what was going to happen with Thalia. He's not sure whether to trust her. He's got that tension within him, but because we only have that
Totally.
one point of view to go from, we don't
Yeah.
get quite as much experience as we get in the film. So I think it's all here, and I think it's leading in the right direction. So I'm
Yeah.
actually excited moving into season 3
Yeah.
here. So, but we won't know
I'm
anything
ex-
till December.
I know.
Is it right?
Ah, it's so far away. It's only January.
And this
I am
January has
really
lasted
excited.
forever. So
I know. Good
finally
in
I'm
good
over.
ways and bad ways.
I'm also really excited for season 3. I really like Thalia. I think the actress is beautiful. I really like her character design, so I'm really excited to see her on screen more. The same goes with Carice. We got to see her a lot more in this season, so I'm really excited to see her in future seasons. Um,
And she's more of a friend now, not an antagonist. So I'm
exactly,
Yeah.
not
anxious to see
a
how that turns out.
antagonist.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she
So
does
just to
have
kind
that
of see that
growth.
core group grow. I mean, we got Tyson. I like his character design too. I like that actor too. So yeah, I'm just excited to
Yeah.
see this cast get a little closer and grow and get to
Yeah.
know Talia more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Something I skipped over in the last episode, which I don't know how I forgot, but I did. There's like a whole battle that's happening at Camp Half Blood, and we get to watch campers defect from Camp Half Blood and join Luke's
Oh
army.
yes.
They're the spies on the inside. They've been giving Luke information and being traitors the whole time, and one of those is Chris Rodriguez, who earlier in the show we saw like Clarice kind of has a crush on him. She's trying to talk to him. She had picked him to join her on the quest, and then she like changed her mind and with when Annabeth ditched, she's like, okay, well, I'm not taking anybody. I'll just go by myself. Um, so I do like because we get more points of view and we do get to see other things happening beyond just whatever Percy Jakcson happens to be looking at. I do like that setup of showing, that other demigods are defecting and they're choosing Luke's side, and that he's making a compelling case, and he's convincing people that that he's right, and that Kronos will be a better situation for all of them than the gods. And again, like, because the both armies get bigger over the years, and throughout the books, I like that. And some of the half-blood defectors become like bigger plot points throughout later books. I do like setting that foundation now and getting to see this early how influential Luke was when he was at camp, and how influential his message is now, that even though that he's gone from camp. So that's a good thing that changed. But yeah,
All right.
do you guys have any final thoughts, or are we gonna wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, make sure you guys check out our February news episode, where we talk about all the fun things upcoming this month and for the rest of the year 2026. This is episode 2 of Percy Jakcson, so make sure you check out episode 1 of Sea of Monsters coverage, where we talk about the first half of the season. And next up, we've got Murderbot. Is that right?
Sounds about right.
Yes, we've got Murderbot. So
Which is All Systems Red is the book.
yes, the book. Yeah, different title for the book, which is going to trip me out when I start searching for Murderbot the book, and they're like, "You're crazy."
The series is called the Murderbot Diaries, and they're all
Okay.
it's like 7 or 8 novellas that all go
Ooh.
together in this Murderbot Diaries.
Okay, perfect. Noted. All right. Well, yeah, we've got Murderbot coming up next. So if you're into that, let us know. Give us a follow, give us a review, comment,
Join the
Patreon, DM us, all the things. Keep in touch, because we want to hear from you. Let us know if you like this new format of splitting the show in half and doing one half in one episode and one half in the other episode. This was new for us, but I liked it. So let us know if you guys liked it as well. And we'll see you next week. Adios, demigods.
Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Book Watch. I hope you enjoyed this journey into the world of page-to-screen adaptations. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, review wherever you listen to podcasts, and share it with your fellow book and movie lovers. If you'd prefer to watch along, you can check the show out on YouTube. You can follow the show on Instagram at Bookwatch Podcast, and you can follow me, Sarah-Daye, on Instagram at captain.mcdee. That's MCDEE. You can also join the conversation in the Bookwatch Lounge on Facebook at www.facebook.com/groups/bookwatchlounge. If you would like to support the podcast, you can join the Patreon at www.patreon.com/bookwatchpodcast. Tiers start at only $4 a month, and I'd love to have you over there. If you have a favorite adaptation you'd like to cover with me, I'd love for you to apply to be on the show with the contact form on our website at www.bookwatchpodcast.com. Until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and I'll see you next week.